I often get a ton of comments where people ask me about comparing the MSI Bravo 15 against the HP Victus to decide if the HP Victus is worth the extra 5000 rupees or the Bravo 15 is totally good enough. I have already compared the two laptops against each other in terms of thermals and gaming performance. Link to it is in the cards. And so this video will be the full and final comparison between the two laptops and will help you decide which one is worth your hard-earned money. Hey guys, Hitesh here. Welcome back to the Hitesh Loves Tech, and if you're new to the channel, make sure to hit the subscribe button and turn on notifications. Alright, so with that said, let's get right into the comparison. Alright, let's start with the design. In my opinion, the HP Victus looks like a regular notebook laptop, simple looking, whereas the MSI Bravo has these angled lines giving it a much more gamery aesthetic. But I must say the MSI Bravo does pick up a ton of fingerprints and they are also difficult to remove. The Victus is bigger in terms of length and breadth, but the Bravo feels thicker and more dense. Speaking of the build quality, I feel the HP Victus is slightly better, and when it comes to the hinges, both have solid hinges with the Bravo having a more consistent dampening, whereas the HP's hinge is a bit too stiff, making the lid wobble more than usual. However, I don't really consider this wobble as an issue. This HP Victus is more than 1 year old now and the hinge is totally like it was on day one. Next up, let's talk about the port situation, and here the HP Victus has one major advantage. Both the Bravo and the Victus have 3 USB Type-A ports, but in the case of the Victus, all of them are 5 gigabit per second USB 3.2 Gen 1, while one of the USB-A ports on the Bravo is USB 2.0. Other than that, the HP also has a full-sized SD card slot, very handy for creators. The first difference is in terms of the HDMI port. The Victus has the latest HDMI 2.1 port, which should support external displays up to 4K 120Hz, whereas the MSI has the older HDMI 2.0 port with support up to 4K 60Hz. The major difference between the two is in the Type-C port. Both are USB 3.2 Gen 1, but the Victus also provides Type-C DisplayPort Alt mode, which means you can connect up to 2 external monitors to the HP Victus using both the HDMI and Type-C ports. This can be a very crucial feature to those who need multi-monitor support for, let's say, heavy office work, trading stocks, content creation, or while streaming. Next up, let's talk about the keyboard and trackpad, and I'm going to keep it short and simple. I definitely prefer the typing experience on the Victus compared to the Bravo. There is just more travel and better feedback from the keys. I also prefer the white backlighting compared to the outdated tacky red backlighting on the Bravo. I also prefer the larger trackpad of the Victus. Moving on to the displays, and here the Bravo has a clear advantage over the Victus. Both cover the same 45% NTSC color gamut, both have the same typical brightness of about 250 nits, although I find this unit of the Victus to have slightly higher maximum brightness, and the Victus's 16.1 inch display size is slightly larger than the 15.6 inch size of the Bravo. However, the Bravo's display can refresh at 144Hz while the Victus is stuck at 60Hz. So if you are an esports gamer, then the Bravo's display will be the clear choice for you. It also supports FreeSync, but the range of just 60 to 144Hz is just meh. Next, let's talk about thermals and gaming performance. Now, I have made a dedicated video comparing the two laptops in terms of thermals and gaming. Check it out if you want in-depth analysis. But here is the short version. In terms of the raw CPU thermals, the HP Victus is still better than the Bravo 15. Because even though the Bravo 15 has more heat pipes than the Victus, the bottom panel of the Bravo doesn't have the vents underneath the actual fans, which limits the airflow. The HP Victus in this comparison, despite being over 1 year old, still has better thermal performance in Cinebench R23 thermal throttling test. The Bravo is fine too, but just not as good as the Victus. However, in terms of thermals, while gaming and casual tasks, both the Victus and the Bravo are equal, no issues there. Same for actual gaming performance as well. Both the laptops have the same Ryzen 5 5600 CPU and the Radeon RX 5500M GPU that can pull up to 66 watts with Smart Shift, and so expectedly both provide nearly identical gaming performance. However, I have been told that it is possible to enable Smart Access Memory on the MSI in the hidden MSI Advanced BIOS section, netting extra performance, but I was unable to access the hidden Advanced BIOS menu using the usual MSI shortcut. Maybe I'll try another time when I get hold of the laptop again. One more difference between the two laptops is the fact that the MSI Bravo doesn't have any extra internal storage expansion slots, which is strange as the older 4600 version did have extra M.2 slots. The HP Victus does have an extra M.2 NVMe slot. Now, I don't consider this as a major con with the Bravo because I myself have shifted to an external portable SSD for all my games. I feel external portable storage is just much more convenient and versatile. Lastly, regarding battery life, the HP Victus with its large 70 Wh battery and very efficient Ryzen 5 5600H processor has some of the best battery life of any gaming laptop, clocking 9+ hours in my YouTube playback test, while the MSI Bravo manages around 6.5 hours. Still good considering the 52 Wh battery thanks to the efficiency of Ryzen. The Victus, however, will handle battery degradation much better over the years simply due to the much larger capacity. HP also has terrific after-sales service support compared to MSI, which is lacking a bit in this aspect. And with that, we come to the end of the comparison. I hope now all your doubts are clarified and you can make the right decision. If I had to make the choice, I would pick the HP Victus simply due to the much larger battery size and the dual external monitor support. To me, these are more important in my day-to-day life than the 144 display in the Bravo. That said, the MSI Bravo 15 is straight up the best gaming laptop under 50,000 rupees, which is a very tight budget. There is basically no competition there. Whereas the HP Victus now faces tough competition from the HP Pavilion with the much more capable and well-rounded RTX 3050 coming just under 60,000 rupees. Alright guys, that's it for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Comment down below your thoughts and queries and I'll try my best to answer them as usual. Make sure to hit the like button and definitely subscribe if you haven't already. Take care and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.